Welcome back, everyone, to another Tasting Room Conversations. Hey, I'm super excited to be here with a guy that I've actually spent quite a few hours sitting in your shop talking. So now this is a little different. This one isn't going to feel quite so bad. This is Jay Cochran. This is Jay Cochran. The paint we're talking about is Jay's a local tattoo artist at Fort Castle Tattoo in Bangor.
Yep.
And also another really cool thing that's relatively new is co-owner of the Bangor Comic and Toy Convention.
Correct.
Both really cool, unique things that are growing, I think, in the Bangor area.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
welcome to it.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah.
Cheers.
We could, sure.
Cheers.
I like it. Let's start out that way.
Sounds good.
Mm-hmm. So, for those that don't know, Jay, we first met with when you came to work at the pub, and you were a server at the pub with us for
Well over
very
4
long
years.
time. Yeah, and at that point in your life, you were also spending a lot of time on the road traveling with your bands and multiple bands. Any bands you want to give a shout out to?
Geez, yeah. I mean, that was. I think it was. I can't remember. I think I was doing Pastime, which was a local kind of like melodic hardcore band.
Yeah.
We had just done a tour with that band, and then I believe Holy Filth came right after that, and then I did that West Coast tour with Hessian.
Yeah.
So that was fun because Hessian was like, Holy Filth didn't get to go on any real tours as us, but we filled in as a band.
Yeah, I noticed that. You ended up playing a lot of places with a lot of different people in some pretty cool spots.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, like between the music, tattooing, and the Bangor Comic and Toy Con, those are like three things that I just never would have thought would be like the norm in my life.
Right.
You know, and not only the norm, but like things that I'm like doing and making happen and putting my best foot forward kind of deal.
Well, and able to make a living at it. And
Yeah.
that's a cool thing. I had a really fun conversation with Ben Lehman from Penobscot Theater Company.
Mm-hmm.
And Ben's a wonderful educator and thespian. So Ben is the education director for Dramatic Academy at Penobscot Theater Company. And we spent a lot of time talking about how cool it is to do, but also how scary it is, and also how it's a weird flip of a switch that you have to make to say, I'm going to do something that most people look at as an artistic endeavor and make my living out of it. Mm-hmm. And that's a bold move.
Yeah.
And I would say particularly in a place like Bangor that has enough population to support it, but also you're not in a big city. You're not able to reach. You have to get deep into the community.
Yeah. No, I mean, I love Bangor, Maine so much. Born and raised.
Yeah.
And it's just like seeing just the growth in my life. I'm just turned 34, and I mean, I remember when Stillwater just had one street light.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah.
And just watching that grow, and no bands. There was no like real bands coming to town. You had, what was that place? I think it was Miami North. That was
out
where the old movie theater, or the cheap seats we call it. I never got to go there, so I wasn't old enough.
Yeah.
But I remember Skid Row played there, and it was a big deal.
Yeah.
It was a big deal.
Wow, I missed that. But yeah, why would that not be a big deal?
Right? Because there was nothing like that. And I mean, the Bangor Auditorium, as much as we all love it and grew up with it, I mean, as far as live performances go, sound quality.
It was good for basketball tournaments.
Yeah.
And barely good for that.
Yeah.
It had a lot of character. Let's say that. It had
a lot
a
of
ton
character, but good sound quality is very, I don't know, underappreciated when people actually have to like put money into it.
Right.
Like kind of what we were just talking about, like lawnmowers. It's
Yeah.
You gotta buy.
We're talking lawnmowers.
Yeah.
We're old dads now, you know. We were talking kids and riding lawnmowers before we went live. It was really riveting.
When you get to that point where you appreciate a nice cut grass and a shopping cart that doesn't squeak.
Yeah.
Like those like
It's always gonna have that wobbly wheel though. You just gotta put up with that. But as long as it doesn't squeak.
The worst with that though is like when you take and you're like, okay, the squeak isn't that bad, and then you get
it gets
in
worse.
the store and you're like,
yeah.
oh
God.
But
Well,
I'm
and then
already
how do you
so
turn
deep.
around? How do you
Yeah.
turn around? Oh, I feel you.
Yeah,
I feel
it's
you.
awful. Those are the things that I appreciate nowadays. But yeah, no, Bangor it's grown so much.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it, and especially like you said with the music, growing up with groups of friends all trying to make it and be that big thing, and everybody tells you, you know, there's no money in it. My dad, I love him right to death, but he always was like, do it.
Yeah.
But like, don't expect, you know, and it was kind of like the same with my driver's license when he told me, you know, he wasn't like being a jerk about it, but he was like, just don't be surprised if you don't make it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, it happens. And so he was always like that, and you gotta make sure that you get your, like, kind of career in order and everything, and I dropped out of college and didn't really have like an actual plan, and I never thought I'd be a waiter.
Right.
You know, being a waiter was just like, there is absolutely no way I can deal with the public like that.
But you were great at it.
I ended
You were
up,
really good at
I
it.
think I was pretty good at it, you
Yeah.
know, and I mean, the biggest thing about that was just being efficient and real with people.
Right.
I mean, the amount of times that I had people compliment me on little things, like bringing them extra napkins. You know, they'd be like, nobody brings me extra napkins.
Thinking about those details ahead and making sure it's there. I would say, you know, talking about that, I think it's your personality. So I don't want to overclaim any one thing making it this way, but I think perhaps those level of service skills that you spent a lot of time working on with that job have done you well into your tattooing career.
Yeah.
Because I'll tell you, people who are not into tattoos, have not had a tattoo, or maybe have not had a tattoo yet but are thinking about it,
or just had one
or
bad
just
experience.
Yeah, one bad experience. Yeah, got that terrible Mickey Mouse on their ankle that they just don't know why they have it anymore. You know, no offense, Mickey. I'm sure it's baller. There are good Disney tattoos. It does exist. Yep. But your shop, the whole crew there, when you roll in, it's a cool vibe, a pleasant place, a comfortable place to be. A comfortable place to be hanging out and doing something that's physically uncomfortable, you know, and having that conversation and catching up and you know, talking about whatever you talk about, and just really, it's a safe, clean, welcoming, hospitable place that for anybody watching this thinking, I don't know, I would recommend even just pop in and check it out and say hey and see what it's all about. And,
even just for a consultation. I mean, that's the other thing, is I think a lot of people don't realize that when you come into our shop, you're not like strapped to a chair and you are not leaving without a tattoo, you know?
And that's not how you want to get a tattoo.
Right.
I mean, there are certain tattoos that works for. Are you still doing the walk-in Wednesdays?
Walk-in Wednesdays,
yeah. So
very
walk-in
popular.
Wednesdays are cool, and if you have a idea that's a formulated, easy idea or something like that, that's a great place to do that. But I would recommend too, from my experiences with tattoos, have some ideas and bat them around a little bit and get them developed, and talk to your artist and make sure the artist is seeing the vision the way you're seeing it, and excited about it and all that sort of stuff, and then it becomes a great experience.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's we've actually become, I think, a place where a lot of women are comfortable coming, because like we're all family guys.
Yep.
You know, Sam's married and has 2 kids. I've been with the same woman 10 years. We have a son, and then Rob has been married for years.
Yeah.
And in a job that it's so easy to take advantage of somebody, unfortunately it is. You're put in very vulnerable situations with people, half naked sometimes, and it just takes one weird comment or action to just totally change everything.
I can't tell you, I can't tell you what we've talked about when we've been doing the tattoos, but I can tell you every time I thought that was a really interesting conversation. You know, obviously, we get together and we catch up on kids and life, and how's the beer doing, and how's your tattoo shop doing, and how's the Comic-Con going, and all that sort of stuff, and family is like the first thing, you know, you'll catch up on and do that sort of stuff. But then we've ended up talking about all sorts of different stuff, especially when Sam's around. I mean, you know,
Yeah,
we have the conversation, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's great because that's another thing that I love about our shop is because it's like an open concept, but we have those dividers.
Yeah.
So it's like we have our own areas, we can pull over our curtains and things like that, but you know, if we're tattooing, you hear Sam say something about something, you can be like, oh yeah, really, blah 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 blah, you know, and then we banter or whatever, and it's really fun like that. But it's almost like therapy for a lot of people.
Yeah.
You know, being able to come in there and it's like you have to relax,
right?
You know, so it's like we're always telling you breathe, take it easy, you know, and then when you're forced to sit like this and you can't be like this all the time, you actually have to get out of that phone realm, which is really nice. And sometimes there's parents that come in there and the fact they're just like, I get to just shut my brain off for like 2 hours. I mean,
it's that thing of
a long way.
I always say, you know, my story is one of saying yes to opportunities and really doing it in the same way as you have done. So like telling your story, there are constants of who you are that you recognized that were going to be integrated into your story somehow or another. Mm-hmm. You know, you're artistic and you need that artistic. You're a good people person. You want to have that engagement, and you wanted the freedom to be financially stable, and also be having the time for family, and so those things were all those things that you were, whether or not visioning out or praying about or however you want to use the terminology, and what happened is you put work to it and it came to be. You know, and same for me, like where I am is right where I wanted to be, but I wouldn't have necessarily understood as a high school kid to write it out like this. I wasn't, as a high school kid, I wasn't going to run a brewery. Are you kidding me?
Well,
like, what was that? Like, how do you get to that? Like, the details.
Like, literally think about Gagan's Brewing.
I know.
And you would, like, trying to do it at 18.
Yeah, it's like, you can't, like, you can't do that. But what I love about your story is it's a story of you followed things that were true to you. Mm-hmm. And you put the hard work in behind it to make it something that was a reality. You're a hell of a drummer because you put in effort at it. You had a natural gift and you put in an effort. You have a natural artistic gift and you put in an effort. And I mean, I think you look at your first works to what you're able to do now in your tattooing career, and there's been those first tattoos were solid tattoos for somebody starting out. They were really impressive for like, hey, these are my first tries. It's like, first tries, wow. But there's stuff you're doing now that you were years away from, but you focused and you developed, and I think that's a great story for hopefully people to hear who might tune into this and say, you know, I'm an artist, or I'm not even sure what I want to be, but these are my ideals. And your story is a great story of like, hey, you stick to those ideals of who you want to be, and you sometimes have to wait tables, and you sometimes have to take things that don't seem quite right, but they fit and they work and they all piece together to do the thing that feeds your soul and puts food on your table and gives you the time to be a good dad and all those sorts of things. And that's awesome.
The freedom for that and everything is unreal. And like, that's another thing that's been so great about it is when I was in bands and everything, I was not only just in a band, but being a drummer, you don't really have a whole lot of control over your future with
any of it.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's like the singer or the guitar player quits and you're like, okay, now what do I do?
There aren't many solo gigs for drummers, I know as well.
And that's why I started playing guitar. But yeah, like it just, to finally be in a spot now where I am totally in control of my own creative freedom and my success. I can be as good, as bad as I want to be. Yeah. You know, and it's totally up to me. Yeah. And that's why, you know, some people, they get to a point and they're just like, I'm good. That's all I wanted to be. Me, my God, man, I'm like, I know that I'm doing way better work than I was, but all I can think about is what I will be doing.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and that's what's going to drive you to be better next year and the year after and the year after and the year after.
Yeah.
It's kind of why I keep holding on to that gift card I have.
Yeah, right.
And I keep paying cash for each new one because I was telling somebody this the other day. I said as long as I hold on to that gift card, it's my like golden ticket for the next one.
Right.
Because I got to get another one if I've got that.
Right.
My mom's gonna watch this and be like, just get rid of that gift card. Although I will say she's a brewer witch as well, and the witch on my calf. I work out with my mom in the gym a couple of days a week. She's been getting back into it after she retired, and she's doing awesome. She's getting strong and all that, hitting her goals.
Good,
sure. And so I'm there in my shorts, and she's behind me, and she says, "I still don't like tattoos, but I really like that one."
That's like the best compliment I can get, man. I get a lot of people like that because there is that stigma, you know, with tattoos.
Yeah.
Even though they've become extremely popular.
And I'll tell you that witch was probably the roughest one that you've done. You tend to have a really gentle hand, like a nice soft touch, and you at least with my skin tone get the ink in there really nicely. But the way that hair was with all the line work and then the shading over it, I was ready for it to be done.
I
was ready for that one.
Yeah, when you're pulling those hair, it's literally like I'm just cutting you.
Yeah.
Like you know, and I feel so bad about it. Like sometimes I actually want to stop tattooing the person because they are in so much pain. Not because like I'm killing them or anything, but after like 4 hours of getting tattooed and the person's getting super antsy and everything, you're like, all right, we're done. We got to be done.
Yeah, I feel like my sweet spot's about 4 hours, and then it gets real.
Dude,
real
I'm 3 hours. Like I'm not trying to impress anybody.
And I agree in that like 3 hours is great, but I can stand 4.
Yeah.
And you get more than that, it's just like, whew.
Yeah. Well, and you got 2 of those spots that we worked on. You had straight shin bone.
Yeah.
And then calf is a painful
delicate,
spot. It's very twitchy too.
Yeah.
That's one part that sucks about that spot for me.
Oh, I could feel it too. Like I couldn't control.
Oh yeah,
it.
there's
Like,
nothing you can do about it.
It's just bouncing around on him.
and that's a nice thing about our shop in the sense that we all try to do as much as we can, but like anything, each one of us kind of are known for something a little bit different. You know, more like if somebody were to come in and say, "Hey, I want a tattoo of a pinup girl." Hell yeah, I could do that, but Sam loves doing that.
Yeah,
you know, so it's like, listen, I do
yes,
a great
I will,
job for you,
but
if you want a guy that's gonna just like, he loves it, and you want the person that's doing your tattoo to be in love with it, and that's one of the hard things when you're trying to explain to somebody, because sometimes they get offended and they think, oh, you can't do it. It's like, no, I can, but I'm not into it.
Right.
Do you really want somebody that's not really into it when there's somebody else I know that could definitely do it and knock it out of the park for you?
And I think that's important too from a tattoo perspective. From my perspective on it was I wanted to have tattoos done by people who I respected artistically, who enjoyed the piece that they were doing.
Right.
You know, because then it's permanent and it's art, and inevitably the vision you have in your head is going to be different to a degree to what comes out on the skin, because it just is. I mean, it's just how anything is going to happen. And so I wanted those differences to be things that I could respect and get excited about in the work, because it was what made it have character and have a story of its own beyond the thought in my head. It now has its own story, that this was the day I showed up and I hung out with my guy Jay, and he's awesome, and we talked about life and kids, and he did this work and he suggested, hey, maybe we do this, and I said, yeah, that's cool, let's do that. And this is the, you know, it becomes its own creature. But yeah, so if you are out there looking for a tattoo and you go to an artist, if you go to an artist and they say, I'm just not feeling it, maybe this person's really good at this or that, and
you should respect
go
that.
with that. Go with it. It's like, you know, you don't go to Gagan's for a 5-star dining experience with white tablecloths. We don't do that.
Right.
It's not what we do. It's not who we are. But if you want wings and beer, like, we're just gonna go.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah, that's cool.
You want to go let your hair down or something, for sure. Yeah, and that's what's funny about tattooing, and almost very annoying, is that so many people respect what you just said in everything else except tattooing.
Yeah.
There's this thing where it's like, you're an artist. Do what I tell you.
Yeah.
Or draw me something up.
You're my minstrel.
Yeah. You know?
Play me a song, minstrel man.
Yeah. But like, every artist is totally different. Everybody's got a different background. Everybody's got a different style that they work with. Mine, I try to tell people, I'm a reference artist. I have never been an artist that sat down and just like, my little sister Nikki, she's great at this.
Yeah.
She is that kind of
very
artist.
artistic,
She draws from her head what she's feeling, the emotions. Like sometimes I look at her drawings or her paintings and I know exactly what she's going through because I can see it. Mine, it's never been like that. Mine's been like, you know, hey, that building over there, that's pretty cool. I'm gonna sit in front of it and just try to draw that building.
Yeah.
And see how well I can make it look like it.
Yeah.
So when people come in and I tell them, you can't give me too many references because then I can see what you want and I can put it together. And then kind of what you said with the difference in what you see is sometimes I have to tone it down because what I'm trying to achieve in my head, I want this to look so good. A lot of times a person's just pumped if it even looks
Close.
anything like it, you know?
Well, and I think with tattooing too, there's that level of what looks good right now versus what looks good in a year and 5 years and 10 years, and you know, how does that live in the skin, and how does it fit on that piece of skin, and how does it, like, you're
How
balancing
do you
a
take
lot
care of
of
your
things.
body?
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
there's
Well,
so
that too.
many factors.
There's that too.
So many factors.
Yeah.
And that's the hard part about this job, and especially with the popularity and the unrealistic expectations, because you've got TV shows that make it look super easy.
Well, and all those pictures that they take of the tattoos that are done in those TV shows are minutes after the tattoo's done. They're not healed.
Edited.
They're then also photoshopped and done under perfect lighting.
Mm-hmm.
It's not how that tattoo looks in a week,
Exactly,
in a month.
Exactly. And I was saying this to Sam the other day. I was like, you mean to tell me that when you're in your program and you've got that little button that says contrast on it, that will make it just sharpen right up? You mean to tell me you don't use that?
You don't use that? Yeah.
So yeah, and like one of them was this tattoo cover-up show.
Oh, I see that. Yeah.
Dude, cover-ups are one of the hardest things you can do. They take multiple sessions. Even over what you just did, you may need a session to do exactly what you just did, just because that old tattoo will kind of show its face again. And then you've got this show that has somebody come in, and they've got this insane, huge, disgusting piece, and the guy goes, yeah, give me a couple minutes, I'm gonna go right back, I'll draw you something up. And then he comes out and he goes, this is what I drew. And they're like, great. And then the end of the episode, they've got this fully done, completely
And you
fresh
know that was
cover-up.
months.
Yeah.
That was months of effort.
Yeah.
If that was even the picture on the... it's a different person.
Right. Exactly. So then you get people that are like, well, I just saw it on TV. Why can't you do it?
Yeah.
Oh, you can't?
Yeah.
You must suck.
Yeah. Like, well, then you're... Yeah.
So yeah, that is one hard
I would
thing
think
about
cover-ups
that
would be
job.
just absolutely crazy. Because you're...
Stress me out.
Yeah, you want to do what you want to do, but then you're handcuffed into the parameters of what can be done.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that
And
would be
it's a bummer too when you're kind of like, man, if I had gotten to do this exact piece that you want as a cover-up on a fresh piece of skin,
it would be awesome.
yeah, we just knock it out of the park. There wouldn't be that. But no, I'm sitting over here and I'm like, okay, all right, we gotta kind of go this way, we gotta kind of go that way. Oh my god, this doesn't cover it as much as I thought it would. Yeah. You know, and like, but I will say, while we are on the topic of cover-ups at our shop, I hate to do this, but Sam's the guy.
Go see Sam.
Yeah, go see Sam. Every time somebody's like, do you do cover-ups? I'm like, no, but Sam does a great job with cover-ups.
Yeah. I would imagine it would take a certain eye for it to do and
I think what Sam has that I don't in that aspect is exactly what I said before, where I'm a reference artist.
Yeah.
I don't have that super creative thought process. I don't.
Yeah.
I've always been pretty cut and dry with stuff like that. Sam was a graphic design artist for like 20 years. You know, so all he did was come up with ideas.
And he
for
had
things.
companies with really terrible logos say, I want you to make me something that looks great.
Yeah.
With this logo.
Yeah.
They're like, oh,
Yeah.
maybe.
Exactly. And I overthink it. Like this logo
Yeah.
you have right there is perfect.
Yeah.
But I probably would have been sick in bed, stressed out, trying to think of that logo.
Yeah.
You know, it
Put
just
more
doesn't
layers,
work
put
in
more
my
things,
head.
put different stuff, yeah.
And I love less is more with
Yeah.
a lot of things, but
Yeah.
sometimes I overthink that less is more so much.
Yeah, I agree. So back to music a little bit. I started playing again. I'm actually this afternoon. We've got band practice.
you got
It'll be
practice
fun.
today.
Yeah, it'll be really fun, and we're enjoying ourselves, and we're writing some new songs with the crew that we've been playing with for a very, very long time. I think Corey DeShane and I started playing together. I was a sophomore in high school. He was a freshman in high school.
Oh.
And we've had long gaps where we have not
Right.
played together because life and things, but our kids are, coming up, and we're in good spots and we can play. But we were laughing last rehearsal of, like, Corey had listened to the old tracks. And he's like, I can't tell you how many times, like, I was, every song turned into this crescendo. Like, just layering more stuff on. We'd have this really nice song, and then we'd get into the recording studio, and we're like, we can dub extra tracks over this.
Yeah.
So then you just keep layering it. And, like, it sometimes was not better.
Right.
Like, it's not always better to put more on there.
No, definitely not.
Let's shift gears, because we could talk forever on all this stuff, but the Bangor Comic and Toy Convention, that's been
It's another terrifying thing.
Yeah. Well, you stepped out on a major limb, a new endeavor, event planning, logistics, all that sort of stuff.
Never I thought I'd be like an event planner, and on that scale. I mean, we brought in just over 5,000 people in attendance last year.
That's cool.
So I never would have thought that I'd be.
Well, and some big names in that circle. You had a really good lineup. You had a really good lineup.
I think we did a really good job as far as people coming in that, because with the BCTC, that was our 4th year as BCTC, but first year that Will Hesketh and I took it over as owners.
Yeah.
He kind of brought me in as like a partner, but not like 50-50.
Yeah.
But after we got through that year and we both really realized how much work we both put in and everything, that's when we decided that we were going to do like a 50-50 thing. And we just announced actually our dates for next year.
Cool. What are the dates?
So April 24th through the 26th,
Awesome.
2020 at the Bangor Cross Insurance, and we are moving to the arena.
That's awesome.
This year. So we're getting an extra like 11,000 square feet of room.
Cool.
Like the green rooms and things for the celebrity guests are way better. We get to use like the big Turtletron.
Oh, that's awesome.
We're doing the food buyout, so hopefully we're going to be bringing in like food trucks and things. So
cool.
Big things.
Well, and you can bring some of that stuff like right onto the floor. That's pretty cool.
Exactly, yeah. And the biggest thing that's going to be nice is we just straight up outgrew the ballroom.
Yeah.
Just outgrew it.
Yeah.
And not like dogging on anybody that's been coming to the event, but when you are doing a successful event that people want to keep signing up for, you get the same people after it that go, hey, I want to come back. And you're like, absolutely, you guys are great. But then when you've outgrown it, there's no room for any new people to come in.
Right.
So now with the extra room, not only do we get to bring in extra people and a different variety, but everybody gets to be on the floor.
That's awesome, and that's cool. And and just for a lot of people, you would never have had a reason to be on the floor of the Cross Insurance Center, and like that's a cool place to just walk into and be like, whoa.
Oh yeah.
It's cool. It's cool to be there and be down there and be a part of that. But you're totally right too in that if you never have that ability to expand and grow and add and change the lineup, you're never going to grow the people that are coming too. You'll add new people that will come, but then you'll have people who have been for the last 2 years and look and say, well, it's all the same stuff, so I'm kind of over it.
Yeah.
I already did this. I already saw everything that they have.
Yeah.
When you add and can change, you've got the people who will bring new people with them and say, you got to see all the stuff that we saw last year, plus I'm going to get to see all this new stuff, and that's awesome. I'm excited for you.
I'm very excited. I hope maybe we can do another beer release.
Yeah. For those that don't know, we were able to do Boba Fruit, which was a lot of fun.
That was surprisingly extremely successful.
Yeah,
as far as a whole, I feel like like you guys obviously do a great job, but I even think that you guys didn't expect that beer to taste as good as it did.
Well, it was a little bit of an outlier for us. We had never done a beer quite like that with the fruit puree right in it, and we wanted to figure out how to do it well and do all the stuff that we typically do is, for important things for us with shelf stability and have it be the same over a certain amount of time and those sorts. So it was quite an endeavor. Yeah, for sure. And the boys hit it out of the park on that one.
They really did, man.
And then, just the idea of the event that we had here in the tasting room, that was a real, different group of people that we reached out to with that was cool. And I thought that was a nice success, and particularly on a not so good weather day.
That's the other thing, yeah. I mean, I'd love to see an event like that that's not during it was like a freezing rain snowstorm or something.
It was terrible. It was
the
terrible.
amount of people we had,
in
spite of it, was great.
It was a decent amount of people anyway, but then when you factor in that it was a terrible weather day, it was like a huge win. I thought it was really good.
Absolutely.
And so for those, we've kind of talked about this comic and toy convention from the perspective of things that we already know. For somebody who's seeing this who has no idea, who just knows the name, give a brief synopsis of what is Bangor Comic and Toy Convention. Why do they want to spend their hard-earned dollars to come and see it and be a part of it, and what can they expect next year?
All right, so basically it's kind of funny when you say it out loud because it seems so obvious to people, but there's such a kind of, when we were talking about tattoos having a stigma that if you have a tattoo you're a criminal. It's the same where if you like comic books or something, you're a total loser. And unfortunately, not everybody, it's grown a lot, but there are still a lot of people that feel that way. And what bothers me about it is that it's just an event to have fun at. It's just there's no pressure. You come there, you bring your family, kids 12 and under get in free. We do family passes, so basically 4 people get in for the price of 2.
Awesome.
You get to meet some of these people that you would just never have an option or an opportunity to meet. You get to get your photo with Sid Haig, who's infamous as Captain Spaulding from Rob Zombie movies. We had Eric Stolansky, who played Rabbit in the Super Troopers. Joey Fatone from NSYNC. I mean,
and that those 3 right there, that runs a very wide range of interests that people would be like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that's 3 insanely different and huge demographics of people. And that's another thing, with the other stigma with the Comic-Cons is a lot of people don't understand why we bring celebrities. They're like, what does that person have anything to do with comics? What do they have to do with toys? Well, a lot of people don't realize Joey Fatone actually has done a lot of voice acting for cartoons. He was in Robot Chicken a few times. He's been part of comic books, and he's a total nerd himself. It's also we're bringing these people in as an added bonus for a reason for somebody to come to the event, because yes, there's all these comic book artists, which is really what it's about, and it always gets awkward when I try to reiterate that it's supposed to be, originally it was supposed to be about the artwork and the collectibles at any comic convention, but it has gotten to a point where if you do not have good celebrities, people are like, I'm not going. And it's unfortunate, but that's how it rolls. Yeah,
but I think, it's one of those that I can respect the purist position of somebody who loves comic book art and collectibles and all that sort of stuff, who wants it to be that thing. Sure, cool, and I respect that, but I also see that for those people who are into the collectibles, for those people who are the comic book artists, having more at these conventions draws more people in, gets more people exposed to those things. You would have, I would imagine you saw some 30-something woo girls that just wanted to meet their Joey Fatone, but then got in there and looked around and said, oh, this is kind of cool, and got an appreciation for that culture that was there for the comic books and for the toys and all that sort of stuff. So, I mean, I can get both sides of that, but I also understand, again, from the perspective of somebody putting on an event, the more diversity of guests and opportunities you can bring to that event within some cohesive umbrella.
Well, and you kind of have to think about it in the sense too, where it's like you got to remember who your audience is. Like, even though it's for children, that means that their parents are probably going to be there. Now, what were their parents into when they were kids?
Right.
And that's where kind of Joey Fatone came.
That's a brilliant that's a brilliant hot take right there. You know, in that how many of these 12-year-old kids that are into comic books and into the toys and into that sort of stuff have parents who maybe were also, but those parents were also coming up at a time when they were definitely listening to Joey Fatone.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Well, dude.
Love it or hate it.
I had a guy that was so mad at us that we were bringing Joey Fatone. Like, he took it as a, like we were backstabbing nerdy people. In the sense that he was saying that people that liked NSYNC beat people like him up. And now I'm thinking, really? People that liked NSYNC were beating people up? I don't know if that was a thing. But, like, but.
Point taken.
Yeah, but after it was all said and done, all the people that gave us crap, and then when it was all said and done, there was so many people that said, that was such a good idea to get Joey Fatone, because as much as people want to talk trash, that guy made his guarantee faster than anybody else.
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm sure of it. I am sure of it.
You know, so it's like, say what you will, man, but you know, there's a reason why we do things.
Yeah.
And you know, a lot of people don't think about it, and you can't please everybody. No. You just can't.
No. So you're moving to the arena floor. Gonna be new celebrities, new vendors,
I've already got a couple
more
contracted
space.
in. I'm very excited to
all
announce,
that
but we
stuff.
gotta wait.
So you've taken a successful thing and you're gonna expand on it. That's awesome.
That's the goal, you know. And on the other, like, real life side of things, you know, I told Will, I said, look, we got to get through this, and then I got to take a break and I got to get married.
Yeah. Well, that's
like,
important.
me and Kimberly have been together so long. We've been engaged almost 3 years, and it's like we gotta get married.
Yeah.
And then I'll jump back into things and everything. But let's get through this year. I gotta go take care of some stuff.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And then we'll be back.
Well, we could talk forever.
Absolutely.
We've already talked enough that we'll probably have to edit some of this out, just because it's, you know, we don't want to. Nobody wants to listen to us for like 2 hours, but I don't know. Maybe if you do, thanks. We'll see. Maybe I'll play you back the tape.
There was no awkward silence.
No, we did a great job. I'm proud of you.
I appreciate you.
Hey, of course, thanks for coming.
For sure.
And check us out with more Tasting Conversation.
King's Pine.
Oh, cheers.